Unsaturation factor. So this tutorial is about unsaturation factor. So we have this problem. Find out unsaturation factor in molecule C5H12. Now you know, in case of saturated alkene, formula is CnH2n plus 2. So this is the formula for a saturated alkane. So if I put n is equals to 5, we will have 5 into 2 plus 2, that is 12 hydrogen is required. And in this compound, we have 12 hydrogen. So unsaturation factor is 0. So in this case, unsaturation factor, and this is equals to 0. That is, there is no loss of hydrogen. So in this case, we have no loss of hydrogen. So we can say this compound is basically a saturated compound. So this is a saturated compound. And that's why unsaturation factor is 0. Now next problem we have, and that is we have to find unsaturation factor for C6H8. So what is the unsaturation factor for this compound? Now you see, for 6 carbon we require 6 into 2 plus 2, that is 12 plus 2, that is 14 hydrogen is needed. So we have only 8 hydrogen. So basically we can calculate loss of hydrogen in this case, that is 14 minus 8, we have 6 hydrogen lost. So we can calculate unsaturation factor, and unsaturation factor is lost hydrogen divided by 2. That is, in this case we have 3 unsaturation factor. Now next problem we have, let us find unsaturation factor for C4H9 NBrCl, and this is like a difficult problem. Now what we can do, so let us write this compound C4H7, and 2 hydrogen we can club with nitrogen, and we have bromine and we have chlorine. Now see, in any compound, chlorine takes the same slot as taken by the hydrogen, or bromine also takes the same slot as taken by the hydrogen. NH2 group also takes the same slot that is taken by hydrogen. This means NH2 group will be treated as 1 hydrogen, bromine will be also treated as 1 hydrogen, and chlorine will also be treated as 1 hydrogen. So in this case, we have (7 plus 1 8 plus 1 9 plus 1 10 hydrogen). So we have 10 hydrogen. And for 4 carbon, required hydrogen is, that is 4 into 2 plus 2, that is 10 hydrogen is required, and we have 10 hydrogen. So in this case, unsaturation factor is 0. So we have 0 unsaturation factor in this case. That is, there is no loss of hydrogen atom. No loss of hydrogen. And that is, there is no double bond or a ring in this compound. Now let us try this problem. So once again we have to find unsaturation factor for C5H8O. Now if you see, OH group also takes the same slot as taken by the hydrogen. So we can write this compound something like this, C5H7OH. And now OH will be treated as a one hydrogen. So we'll count OH group as one hydrogen group. So how many hydrogen we have? 7 plus 1. So in this case we have 8 hydrogen. And how many hydrogen is required? So we can calculate required hydrogen in this case. That is 5 into 2 plus 2. That is 12 hydrogen is required. So we can calculate unsaturation factor, that is number of hydrogen required minus number of hydrogen we have divided by 2. So we have in this case unsaturation factor 2. So there is a loss of 4 hydrogen, or we can say there is an unsaturation factor of 2 we have in this case. Now let us try this problem. This is slightly difficult one. So we have compound C6H5NOBrCl, and area is again same. So we have to find unsaturation factor, and area is same. We will try to write this compound C6, and we can club 2 hydrogen with nitrogen and 1 hydrogen with oxygen. So we have basically clubbed 3 hydrogen, so we will have C6H2Br Cl, and halogen will be counted as a group. So we have 2 hydrogen plus 1 3 hydrogen plus 1 4 5 6. So we have 2 3 4 5 6. So we have 6 hydrogen. And how many hydrogens are needed? So we have 6 carbon. For 6 carbon, 6 into 2 plus 2, that is 14 hydrogen is required. So we can calculate unsaturation factor, and this is equals to 14 minus 6 divided by 2, that is 8 by 2. So we have 4 unsaturation factor. Unsaturation factor is also called index of hydrogen deficiency. So in this case we can say we have 4 index of hydrogen deficiency. In short it is simply called IHD, index of hydrogen deficiency. So we have 4 IHD. Now unsaturation factor is not necessarily a integer, it can be fraction also. For example, calculate unsaturation factor for this compound. So this is a carbocation. Now for 2 hydrogen we will expect 2 into 2 plus 2, that is 6 hydrogen is required. But we have only 5 hydrogen. So in this case we have 5 hydrogen. So unsaturation factor is 6 minus 5 divided by 2, and that is 0.5. So unsaturation factor can be fraction also. Now we have a question, that is, what is the meaning of unsaturation factor 1? So if I say unsaturation factor 1, what it means? What is the meaning? So what is the meaning for unsaturation factor 1? Now there are 2 possibilities. So let us say we have hydrogen and hydrogen. We can remove this hydrogen and we can connect these 2 bonds. So we'll have a double bond between 2 carbon. So unsaturation factor 1, this means we can have a double bond. So possibly we will have a double bond. So this is a 1 double bond. Unsaturation factor 1 also means we can have a ring. For example, I can remove this hydrogen and this hydrogen. Unsaturation factor 1 means there is a loss of 2 hydrogen. So we have loss of 2 hydrogen. So we have to remove 2 hydrogen. So we can remove this hydrogen and this hydrogen, these 2 hydrogen, and these 2 carbon can be connected. And if I connect these 2 carbon, we will have a 3-membered ring. this is a cyclopropane ring. So this means unsaturation factor also means we can have one ring. So there are two possible answers. So if I have one unsaturation factor, this can be either a double bond. So we can have either a double bond, or we can possibly have a ring. So there are two possibilities we can have in this case. So let us try this problem. So what is the unsaturation factor for this compound? So we have to calculate unsaturation factor. So what is the unsaturation factor for this compound? You see, simply count double bond and ring. So in this case we have 3 double bonds. So one here, one here, one here, and one here. So total is 4. So 3 plus 1, 4. So we have 4 double bond. And we have one ring also. So this is a ring. So we have one ring. So in this case, unsaturation factor is 5. So let us try to find unsaturation factor for this compound. So we have to find what is the unsaturation factor we have for this compound. So what is the unsaturation factor? So you see we have 3 double bonds and 1 double bond here and 1 double bond here. So 3 double bond inside this ring, that is benzene, and 1 double bond here we have and 1 double bond we have here. So we have total 5 double bond. And we have 2 rings. So this is one ring and this is also one ring. So there are 2 rings possibly here we have. So this will be counted as a ring, this part, and this part is also counted as a ring. I have a double bond here. So basically we have 2 rings. So total unsaturation factor in this case 5 plus 2, that is we have 7 unsaturation factor. So let us try this problem. Once again we have to find number of unsaturation factor. So let us say we have this compound, and what is the unsaturation factor in this case? Idea is again same. So we have to count double bond and ring. So we have to count how many double bond we have. So here we have 2 double bond. Here we also have 2 double bond, and inside this ring we have 3 double bond, and we have one ring. So this is a ring, and this ring is called benzene ring. So we have 2 plus 2 4 plus 1 5 plus 3 8. So we have 8 unsaturation factor in this case. So in this case unsaturation factor is 8.